When I was playing last weekend, okay, not last weekend, the weekend before, in Sweden, there was one game. There was one game which blew away everybody. Erik Blomqvist is my teammate in the Swedish team Rockaden. He was playing this game on board 4, something like that. I mean, he's one of the best players in the team, obviously. I mean, of course, me, Jon Ludwig Hammer, we are the 2600 level guys. We try to play whenever we can. We also have in our team the young talent Jonas Bull Bjerre from Denmark, but there only can be 2 foreigners. Anyway, so Erik Blomqvist is one of the strongest Swedish players, and he played this masterpiece against Hans Tikkanen. So I would like to show you this game so that you can quietly sit and appreciate the beauty of chess. So e4, c6, knight f3, d5, and knight c3. The only objection I have about this game is that Erik plays knight c3. That's the only objection. I think that d3 is much more interesting, which I've been playing a lot lately with very good results, which also is going to be a part of my chessable course, the King's Indian Attack. So bishop g4. Wait, you're saying no one cares? Wait until you see this game. Wait until you see this game. You're gonna be drooling. So h3. This is a very common theme. h3, bishop f3, queen f3, and one of the common themes of this position is that white has 2 bishops, black has a very solid position. e6, bishop e2. So I'm not gonna bore you about the positional nuances of this opening, right? So there's g3, bishop g2, there's bishop e2. None of this really matters. What matters is that we understand the core idea of this position is that black is going for something solid and white is going for something very open. With me so far? Okay, watch this. Bishop c5 sort of stops d4, makes sense. Short castle, knight e7. So black is really smart. I mean, he's trying to put the knight on f6, maybe the knight on e7, and this knight to f6, and this knight to e5. I mean, go figure, right? I mean, there's many ideas what black could be thinking about. And again, remember the core idea that white wants. He wants to open the position. So, what he does? He takes on d5. Again, we could argue what happens after c takes on d5. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I think it might be something like knight a4 and d4 next. For example, bishop d6, d4, knight goes back, bishop d3, knight e2, c3. Some typical king's attack ideas as already, which are very common ideas for the Caspar structure. Okay, but it didn't happen in the game, so let's not focus on this too much. E takes on d5, so black is incredibly solid, right? Rook e1 makes sense. Threaded with some discovered check, the king on e8 is under attack. Knight e7 makes sense. And now, from here, Erik Blomqvist starts to play godlike. Look at this. First he plays knight a4. Meaning nothing special, right? But the point is, I want to take your bishop and establish myself a total superiority of my 2 bishops. So, black plays logically. He plays bishop d6. Now we play d4. The idea is to get back with the knight, bishop d3, knight e2, c3, you know, and somehow get some kind of a king's attack. Black plays very normal human idea. He plays queen a5, attacking the rook on e1, attacking the knight on a4. So, white plays knight c3, and here, I'm not sure what happened with black. I guess he was not happy playing short castle. I guess, I don't know, maybe the reason was something like bishop d3, you know, this bishop is active, bishop d2, attacking the queen, knight d2, knight f4, knight g3, or maybe knight e1, knight e3, knight g4, whatever. Either way, something prompted black to start with knight f8. And he was pretty happy with his choice, right? I mean, the idea is to position the knight either on e6 or g6 and keep the option to castle both ways. And when you're looking at this, you're thinking, this is pretty smart, right? Well, except it's not. When you're playing against such a good player as Erik. Look at the next move that White played. You like that? Bishop h6. Okay, maybe the move itself is nothing really special, right? Because the point is, after g takes on h6, queen f6, this attacks the rook at h8, this attacks the bishop on d6. Black is in a terrible situation, so this is not something that Black is gonna do. Wait for this, wait for this. So bishop h6 actually attacks the pawn on g7, and Black has to do something about it, right? And again, look at this. Knight e6 is still bishop g7, probably. Bishop g7, knight g7, and queen f6, and this idea, I guess, still works. Something like knight f5, bishop d3, there's a lot of pins, there's bishop f5. I mean, looking at this and you're like, oh my goodness. Okay, wait for it. This is still not the most exciting part of the game. Black played rook g8, right? Protect the pawn on g7. Now White plays bishop d2, having provoked Black rook g8. This means Black cannot castle short, and this is great news for White, because this means this guy is gonna have to castle the long way, and White will be able to storm everything at the queen side. So Black played queen b6, which is a very popular move, especially at the club level. People like to do this. Attack the pawn on d4, attack the pawn on b2, make faces like there's something. Erik is unimpressed. He plays queen d3. So with queen d3, now the point is, you can't take on b2, because after rook takes on b7, this king is under a heavy crossfire. You simply cannot do this. Also, the queen on d3 not only protects the pawn on d4, there is no knight e6, because now the pawn on h7 in some lights is under attack. With me so far? Okay, so Black thinks, okay, this is not a big deal, right? I'm gonna play g6, which is a very solid move, you know? I'm gonna play knight e6, I'm gonna play knight f5, I'm gonna play a long castle, and everything is good. So you think, right? Knight f4. Now the queen is under attack. I mean, where do you go with the queen? There's basically no square with the queen at the queen side, so the only square is here. Knight c5. Now what? You have no access to knight e6, because after knight e6, f takes on e6, this pawn is under attack after bishop g4, you simply lose it. So, what to do? Ticker plays b6, which makes sense, right? You push away the knight. Knight a6, queen d7, and since Black is about to castle a long way, now look at what White does. He plays c4. He's not afraid of the isolated pawn on d4. All he cares about is exploit Black's weak king at the queen side, because this is where the Black king is heading. Black played knight e6, bishop f3, increasing the pressure on the pawn on d5, long castle, rook c1, so Black's position is already terrible, right? I mean, there's c takes on d5, there's c5 threat, maybe b4, b5, oh my goodness, you name it. And now comes the fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. Black plays d takes on c4. So his idea, I'm not sure what's the idea, to be honest, because it exposes the king. His idea is that after queen c4, there's knight e4, and this queen is going to be under attack. And if rook c4, I guess he thought he can play king b7, put the knight on d5, and somehow he survives this. So this is what Black is thinking about. And try to imagine yourself now in White's shoes. What does Erik do? He takes, queen takes on c4. And Black's like, wait a second, what's going on? Because I have this trick. Knight takes on d4. This is my idea all along, right? I mean, you can't take on d4. There's bishop h2 check. The queen is under attack. And also I just attack the pawn on c6. The knight on a6 is not doing much. I need just one more move. King b7, everything is great. The next move that Blomqvist played, I would imagine that Tikkanen probably fell out of his chair. Queen d4. You know, White deliberately blunders the queen. So, I mean, Black is like, what's going on, right? I have to take the queen. Okay, bishop h2 check, take, and queen d4. And now the question is, where's your point? rook e7. So, what do you do now? Because you can't take on d2, this is a mate in one. There's also rook takes on c6. I mean, look at this. Rook d7, rook c6, king d8. I have no idea what's the right continuation here. I mean, there should be something. I don't know. I mean, maybe some bishop g5 or bishop g4 stuff at some point. Let me just check the engine here. Rook d7 here, rook c7. White has three minor pieces against the queen. And somehow White is winning this. Pretty insane, right? So, after queen d4, rook e7, Black plays queen d6. And he's like, wait a second, did you blunder this? Because this is like a check on your king, right? I'm winning the rook here on f4. And now comes the final blow to Black's position. White plays one of the most beautiful moves I've seen lately. You like that? I mean, everything is under attack, right? I mean, look at this. After queen f4, there's more pieces under attack. g3, queen f3, queen takes on c1, rook c7 mate. Rook takes on c6 is mate. It's just incredible. I mean, White is down a full queen, and White is winning this. So, Black's like, what's going on here? So he takes on e7, rook takes on c6. Now the king's only move here, king d7, rook c7 check. And here Black made a very big mistake. I'm not sure what happened, to be honest. I think that king e6 had to be played. And now here, after king e6, there's something like a take, knight b4. And White has three minor pieces for Black's two rooks. There's stuff like knight c6 threatening, and at least according to the engines, this is still better for White, but it's not winning. It didn't happen though. And after rook c7 check, I'm not sure if Black missed here. He played king e8 only to get bishop c6 check. Right? He can't go king f8, there's bishop h6. I mean, look at Black's position, right? Pretty insane. So after rook d7, maybe this was his idea that White is gonna take twice on d7. Erik says, no, I'm not yet done. And he plays knight b8. He promotes his knight on b8. Look at that. And Black had it enough. He just resigned. He played some random move queen before he just resigned. You know, it's insane. It's insane. And Erik was very modest. You know, he just played this game. And I asked after the game, how do you play again? Okay? Yeah, good game. Yeah, GG. Yeah, standard queen sacrifice. I mean, nothing special. I mean, I would actually call it. I really like this title, as somebody said it. I think it was on YouTube, or where was this? The Symphony of Sodertalje. I like this. I like this title, the Symphony of Sodertalje, because we played in Swedish town Sodertalje. This felt like a symphony, right? And if you go back a couple of moves, of course, White could have played better. White could have played rook takes on c4 and simply win a nice positional game. And Black could have defended very well with his rook c7, king e6, and maybe in the end this would not have been a victory. But still, I mean, this is part of art. This is why we play chess. And thanks to the mistakes from both players, we were able to see this masterpiece. I mean, just brilliant.